Well, it's it's uh, it's it's not escaping me that on the night that I break my Samsung Galaxy S4 thanks to my fucking cranky Frankie cat, I get I solved the file saving crisis problem, whatever you want to tab, not being able to locate 4 hours of recorded material that you really wanted to be able to locate. Having solved that problem, admittedly 10 months late, it leaves me wondering if I will ever open that other Samsung Galaxy S4 that I have in a box, because, you know, it's just nice to be able to change the damn battery. You know what I mean? So the recording level on this, though, seemed as higher than I've ever captured before. And it's in straight MP3 format, so I don't have to put it through a processing program. There could have been a whole lot of advantage to using my Samsung Galaxy S8, which is what I'm currently using, to record these. But I thought, if I'm going to potentially lose recorded material, which at that point I had 3 times, there's no fucking way. But now that I understand why Android was cloaking it so they could show me ads, well, I think, again, fuck you, Android. Well, universe, in your traditional tit-for-tat way, you have me in forgiveness mode, kind mode, but there's no going into understanding mode anymore. How can I understand that in the last 12 hours, my cat has cost me my laptop, my Samsung Galaxy S4, and my 300 filled down count comforter? At what point is the collateral damage too high not to take out your nemesis? Not my arch nemesis, the guardian angel. That's something totally different. No, this is my in-house critter nemesis, Cranky Frankie the cat. Oh, God. I just have to put her down. I hate killing an animal. But the universe took me on a trippy dream ride last night. No drugs involved. Though, gosh, I wish I had some. I wish I had some, an ounce of really good mushrooms so I could take 10 ounces. So I could take 10 or 15 grams today and just ride out what the current data download is driving. Because all of last night was like going to fucking geometry class or math class to learn base 12. I've spoken before about how one of the first truly intellectually lit light bulbs of my youth was when a teacher taught me there were math systems other than base 10. It was fascinating to me. So when I have this dream last night, of course, I'm looking around for Mrs. Horvat, or Ms. Horvat, sorry, whatever it was. In the 70s, there were still Mrs. floating around. But I think it was Ms. Horvat, who was by far the smartest teacher in my elementary school. You could just tell that there was nobody that held an intellectual candle to her. But her energy of math, she turned a lot of the elementary girls into math fans. She had a really good way with teaching math. And to the point that they started rolling her into you if you were advanced in 3rd and 4th grade. She would come down and do some quick hits with you so that you were getting better math instruction than, say, Mr. Smith or Miss Tesler could give. However, just a little praise for you, Miss Horvat. You were a teacher of great imprint for me, so I think you deserve the dap. But sitting as I was in the Caves of Wisdom, yay, I hadn't been back there in a while. As a matter of fact, one of my first thoughts in the dream was, hey, it's not as red as I remember, it's browner. But back into the Caves of Wisdom I was. And I was actually getting lectured by the camel lionesses. not lectured. They don't lecture you. They just take you into the learning displays and you immerse yourself in knowledge. And so by doing so, you kind of fully understand, oh, this is the advantage of base 12 math. Of course. Well, and all the inconsistencies that are necessary because base 10 math has no 3 divisibles. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 6 are all divisors in a base 12 system. So all of your math comes out to final calculation. You don't have 4.3. You have few exceptions. But in base 10 math, you've got all kinds of fill-in gaps of inconsistent calculation because you have ad infinitum all over the place. So base 12 is how the universe was calculated, not base 10. Does this matter? I don't know. It sure seemed to be something they were trying to get me to fucking understand. They kept sending me back into the same damn pools, which, of course, they always do. And at one point, I was like, just slap me upside the head. We don't do that. What do you mean you don't do that? We don't have that power. Yeah, you do. You do it to me all the time. No, we don't do that. You're a level low. So now I got to learn it for myself. So, yeah, I don't know what that slap you upside the head part is. There's a version of knowledge gain that I guess only the one true, she must be the queen or something, or she must be the leader of this group of them. But there's one camel lioness that stands out. She's the tallest of the group. That's the way she stands out. And I think of her as a she, but these are not male and, well, I don't know if they are male and female characters because last night, whatever time of day I was dreaming, these guys actually felt male. I've never really realized that. They've always felt effeminate, but non-sexual to me. In other words, I don't think there's a sex to them. I mean, they're just, compared to dreams where you're fucking Madonna, this is not like sexy time in my dream world. So I don't know that I've ever really had a conscious thought about them in a capacity of their gender in my dreams. I'm kind of trying to think through it all now to see if there's been an indicator. But I do think of the one who, what she does is she'll look at you like you can't understand things because the concepts are swirling around your head, but you can't make them connect. And she'll just take her big paws and bam, hit you upside the head, like smash your head like a melon. But what it ends up doing is her paws move through you and connect inside your head, and then you get it all. So that's why I was trying to get slapped upside the head. It's like it all comes to you at once. But no, if you keep dipping into the pools of knowledge, you keep learning shit. But you have to keep applying it so that you can learn the next thing. I mean, obviously that's how learning works. But, so, is that worth losing my laptop, my Samsung Galaxy S4, my 300 filled down comforter? As the cat hides under my painting step stool. I don't know. Man. Talk about mishandling an animal. I should have had her down a year ago. She's had a tough year, tougher than me probably. And that's saying something this year. But her resolve is, it's the one thing about her I guess I admire the most. She has a will to live above most. And that, on days like today, can be hard to understand. I did go to the open mic night last night, and I said my farewell. I won't be back, not for a while. And it's funny, it's exactly 6 months later, almost to the day. It would be 6 months later tomorrow. But and I should probably go to the Monkey Barrel and do the same thing, to be honest, or not. I don't know. Like, at least 35 or 40 of the people I would want to say goodbye to weren't there last night. So maybe I owe it to myself, if I'm going to take a sabbatical or even quit the industry entirely, to go say, hey, I really enjoy getting to know you. I hope good things happen to you. You're a human of very high caliber. I hope your influence in life is broad and sustaining. And then, of course, I would tell 39 other comedians that they were fucking good to know. But there are a couple of just dazzling talents out there who I did not get to say, you are tremendous. Pause. Okay, unpause. I somehow lost a recording from, as it turns out, February 7th of 2023. And in losing that recording, I let down a friend. Like, we had intended to record a conversation. I set it all up and then somehow couldn't find the recording the next day. Well, I just found that fucking recording. And as soon as I saw it, I'm like, holy shit, I know what that is. So let me explain why I lost it. Because fuck you, Android. I hate Android. I hate most operating systems. It's kind of a blanket. If I were an ist, I'm operating systemist. I have a natural tendency to think they're all fucking lame. And I know that's my prejudice coming through. But Android hides the data files that are in this app. Now, of course, I know Android hides its files all over the system. So you have to go locate your individual titled items. As a matter of fact, title your items odd characters so that when you use a finding program, you can locate the file structure system that Android is doing to you, unless you've rooted your phone and all that shit, which I never have done. But you can get around most of that shit in today's atmosphere just by using different file search methods. Well, you can do that unless in the apps that you use to then sort those files, Android obscures any file over 60 minutes. Why does it do this? I have no fucking idea. But I just found 3 different recordings, including this one with my friend. 2 others, which I had just figured had gotten lost in the zeitgeist, because they were both all over 60 minutes. They completely vanish in my file sorting system, and they don't reappear unless you go through the 2 ads that you have to watch to then sort your files by size inside the system itself. It doesn't even show them in the roster of files in the app until you sort by size, and then they appear. Now, have I turned some fucking permission off of access to my storage for apps generally that means I'll only permit them into files under, maybe I fucked with my Android system somewhere and set this up against myself, but I don't think so. This is just to make me watch ads. And that is why I hate Android. Oh, and did I mention that another ad plays when you sort by size? Because of course it does. Oh, did I mention that if you then go back to sort by date, but then go forward to sort by size, you watch another ad? Because of course you do. Okay, let's move on to a better topic. I mean, I know there are other operating systemists out there. We're not alone. But it's not like we have hoods and cross-burning festivals to go to. No, we're just isolated, irritated, people who knew better systems were available, but they couldn't spy on us as easily, so... Or sell us as much shit, or advertise it, because any advertisement I see immediately means I won't buy the product. I hope you all know that. Like, it's ridiculous to me that you advertise in these invasive ways. As soon as I see one, I'm like, add it to the list. Another thing I'll never own. And I'm a guy who owns a 300 downfill comforter that is covered in cat blood. So it's not like I won't own some shitty shit. I'll put up with some shitty shit. Right, kitty? Fucking kitty. All right, let's talk about guns. Because There is no subject on which I am less equipped to speak than guns. I have held a gun twice. I've held a shotgun once. By gun, I refer to pistol. Both guns I held were air pistols. The shotgun had a bullet in it. The bullet in the shotgun I actually fired at a target at a home of one of my cousins. Oh, and I've also held a BB gun in Boy Scouts. Actually, I think I was a Cub Scout. I don't think I ever was a Boy Scout. So that's my... Oh, and I have watched my cousin, same house, shoot a robin on a post and kill it with a pellet gun. So, and I screamed at him the whole time, why did you do that? Why did you do that? Until our parents found us, and he got in a lot of trouble, actually. I kind of felt bad about that, but why the fuck did he do that? I've never put together that the robin has been my... Oh, boy. I wonder if that all goes back to my incident with David. I consider robin feathers to be a personal omen that I'm doing things correctly, that I'm on the right track, that I'm making good forward moves. And I've never, ever, 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 till right now, considered my defense of the first creature I thought I'd seen unjustifiably snuffed out was a robin. And I've always wondered why the fuck that happened that day. That did not need to happen. But I guess if I was the son of Gary Wickman, maybe I'd be out there with a gun killing. But no, I'm the son of Noel Copeland, so I'm out there with an intellect saying, I'm too emotional, I'm gonna go do something like cry in the corner. Pause. Hey, but at least I'm not killing robins. Call holding for sad emo fuck on line 13. Line 13, sad emo fuck. Okay, I know I'm not alone when I announce that now is the time for a dab of strawberry cough. I say I know I'm not alone in thinking now is the time for me to take a dab of strawberry cough, because somebody listening to this has already thought, dude, have you had enough dab time this morning? Because usually you get a lot higher than this before you hit the record button. To which I'm thinking, dude, I wish I knew you, because we are thinking exactly the same. There I go with my lazy because. I'm a cuz speaker. I realize that now. That is maybe the biggest realization of my speech patterns I had while doing this project, was learning that I don't say the word because. I say the word cuz. At least when I'm speaking in colloquial subject matter. But what do you know? You go record yourself for 415 episodes. See what you see. There's plenty to see. You just got to go see it, even if it's all audio. Pause. Unpause. Okay. Whoa. Pause. Living up to its name. Come on. I had to get one of those in. All right. I think I've mentioned, but I don't know if I have. So this is definitely the time when my head will say, yep, you've mentioned that. And if I've mentioned it now twice, well, that is a little gratuitous. Should I go back? But I listened to all 10 of those and I don't remember it coming out. All right, here's the thing. I have 3 if you count my friend. And I guess you should, because he's the most adamant. I have 3 attorneys who are hounding me to file suit. But the only way that I can file suit is to file suit simultaneously against my arch nemesis, the guardian angel. And I'm not going to do that. I absolutely refuse. And that, I actually had this conversation with my mom yesterday, because I just needed somebody to know that even the lawyers think I'm right. And if the lawyers think you're right, you're right. At least in this country. Just ask ex-President Donald J. Trump. So, have I even talked about guns yet? I don't even know if I have. We were going to move on to guns, right? After we got done with, what was I talking about before that? Something worse. If I'm making one mistake in my current scheme of life, it's not preparing for what could potentially be gun worthy, which is the devastation of the infrastructure of America causing who knows what to go next. I keep thinking about how smart it is that the Chinese are pumping in fucking cheap drugs to this country to tear apart the fabric of our culture and humanity. And it's working. It's fucking working great, if we're being honest. And I'm devastated by the vibrational hum of the whole community. It's just muted and gray, filled with static and disharmony. It's such a cloud of underachievement. It makes it hard sometimes to even leave the house. Just walk into all that failure. I need to find a way to generate wins for people's belief in themselves. Even last night. One of the comedians last night was so good. I'd never seen her before. She was as original a talent as I've seen. Now, I've seen comedians who do self-deprecating musical comedy, but her rapping and just body movement she deserves an audition on Saturday Night Live with as much talent as she showed last night. She could be a great sketch comedian. But what are you going to do, right? That isn't the venue. Let me put it to you this way. She's been doing it for 10 years. I had never seen her. But she's polished. She's got an act that is, I'm sure, consistently getting booked. After seeing her last night, I realized that when a real comedian comes out to work on material at an open mic night, they're noticeable. and I guess I should give her name in case anyone ever wants to look up. The last name's Driscoll. First name is, damn it, it'll come to me. Haley Driscoll is worth finding time to watch. If you enjoy raw, self-deprecating, foul-mouthed, I don't know that it was all that foul-mouthed. That isn't probably a fair description like it would be for Eddie Murphy. But her act is unique and in your face. But if that kind of comedy doesn't scare you, and I don't mean like Sam Kinison. I didn't even think Sam Kinison was funny. Her jokes are constant. You will have at least 5 gut-busting moments in the 10, 15, 20 minutes you get to see of her. If you see her live. I have no idea if she's funny on tape. Okay, moving on. Guns. The downside to not having a gun in America is that there are 400 million of them here. That's just in the hands of the citizenry. I have no idea what is here in the stockpile of our military. But assume that if you're walking in America and you run into somebody, they have a gun. If not on them, it's in their house. That's an assumption that's fair, because you'll be right more than you'll be wrong, and you might be right a lot more than you're wrong. I know that gun collectors, meaning people who own more than one gun, or maybe it's more than 2, are accountable to something like 300 million of the 400 million guns. So there are 120 million gun owners in America, in the adult population that can own them, which I think is like 180 million people or 190 million people. I don't know. There are a lot of people under the age of 18. That is what this is really saying, that can't own a gun. But, or is it 16? Fuck, I don't even know. But of the rest of the adult population, like 120 million people own guns, and 90 million don't, or 80 million don't, or whatever it is, 70 million. And so I'm in the don't category. But the truth is, if the lights go out, one of the things you actually will want is a gun and ammunition. Not in any other circumstance would I need a gun except to defend my life against imminent attack. And that's one circumstance in which you'd have to accept that in this country, that's the circumstance you've just found yourself in if our infrastructure were to take a hiccup. So, as the greatest pacifist of all time, I've been reevaluating whether or not I should possess a gun and enough ammunition to defend myself against somebody trying to harm me for whatever reason. It's a fucking awful thought. Maybe that's what I should try to go back to the cave of reason for tonight. Cave of learning, sorry, whatever. I can't believe that I hadn't been there. I now think probably in 4 or 5 years. It has been a while, and I had it way redder, like Mars red, or the sandstone, or the red desert in Utah that they used to film all those landers. I'm kidding, I think. Anyway, it's almost earth brown, like it's dirt brown. It's not red at all. In fact, it has barely a hint of red in it, but it's brown. And the cave stone, I was actually fascinated by the texture of the walls for the first time ever. I think I'd always noticed, but they're just pristine polished. It's like it's, you know those rocks you buy that are cut in half, and then they have the side that's just flush, smooth. Every part of the stone is that smooth. There's no crack. I mean, there are features within the rock, like you know how granite has a look, but it's subtle even. It's not cracks per se, but it's more ore lines or something, or just I don't know. Hard to describe a little bit, but the what you realize is that the amount of work that goes into creating the facility is fantastic. It makes it, but it made me wonder as if I was on a spaceship. Like that was my first thought: is it artificial? But I've never thought that, and I don't think it was right because I had no reaction to that thought in real time. But this is the first, and I kept going back into this dream. Like this dream felt like an hour long, so I have a whole lot of pull back from it today, and to the point where I want to go look at base 12 math versus base 10 math and figure out if there are inconsistencies built into our theory because we can't come to finite conclusions in the math system we're forced to use. All the red-headed giants supposedly had 12 fingers and toes. We're based in our entire time and calendar structure in base 12 systems, but our math is base 10 because we have 10 fingers and toes. So we're told. What if it's base 10 because base 12 math is where it all synchronizes? I mean, seriously, what if? Somebody else has to have had this thought like 5 million times. This isn't a complex thought. This is a simple thought. But what if? I mean, what if? So, why not? I'll probably figure out in 4 minutes worth of watching YouTube videos. But as of this morning, I'm fascinated by the potential, once again, that the human race is an extinguished flame of possibility that can barely hold its emotional shit together because it's locked into a base 10 math system that doesn't make any sense in the overall whole of the universe's structure. That's why we keep shooting guns at each other. Probably not. But what you gonna do? Anyhow, so on the upswing, I found that recording, plus 2 others, one of which, fucking A, man. Why'd I have to lose that recording? And now it's irrelevant. Like, there's no fucking way I would post it now. It's almost a year old. But it needed to be posted when I had it. And I never recreated it even. I didn't even try to recreate it, to be honest. But I guess it could go in the lost files folder. It's the truly first, well, and plus this conversation with my friend. The intent there was to chop that up into some podcast. I don't know if I want to go listen to that right now, just based on the time of year it was last year. Or this year. It was this year. It was 10 months ago. By the way, this is November 29th. The time of day is 9:37. And I'm currently full of all kinds of motivation to go do a lot of stuff, like clean the blood off my comforter, if it's possible, but I doubt it with all my blood and cat material that's been left on it. Yeah, that's awful. So what do I do about my cat? I guess I have to put her down tomorrow. They won't let you put your cat down the same day. How silly is that? Unless it's a medical emergency, which I could obviously claim. But if I'm going to put her down, we're going to have one more night together and she can bleed all over my worst shit. Whatever. She deserves to be loved on the way out. And after finding her curled up on my comforter this morning, bleeding on it profusely, well, how much pain am I willing to put this poor little animal through, thinking she might heal when she's not going to? All right, well, you know me, I don't like to end on cat downer notes, so that is not how we're going to finish this. How we're going to finish this, though, is definitely going to involve more strawberries and coughing. So let me just pause, get through that part, and we'll finish on a high note. Right, George Costanza? Right. Okay. How about this? Wait, let me take a sip. So sweet you are, Sandia. Watermelon soda from Mercado de Kroger. I hate the corporations in this country. I hate them more than I hate the deep state operatives who have manipulated our media structure into nothing but propaganda and mind washing. Well, it's more mind imprinting and brain cleaning. Well, no, they don't clean your brain, they infect it. So it's brain infecting, mind implanting. Ideas of ill report. I say this because in a conversation where I was just trying to get my mom to admit that the Democrats have now become the party of war. And if she's going to align with the Democrats as staunchly as she is, she's a war supporter. And she freaked the fuck out. Literally freaked the fuck out. I thought we might have to pull over while she was driving so that she could compose herself. I said, can you give me any counter argument? She said, I give you my entire life. You know I'm not about war. I said, so how can you be supporting Joe Biden with the amount of fervor you are? She throws Rachel Maddow at me. I'm like, well, I mean, you finally are watching Rachel Maddow, which means at least you've opened your mind to your own biases and shortcomings of denying yourself the intellectual side of your party. But that isn't an argument. That is a reinforcement that I'm right. And and I feel for my mom and my dad because they grew up and became mature adults and resonated in that community for decades, at least 2, where that party, or your party generally, represented something of merit and was founded on the concept that that merit was meaningful. The loss of integrity in the institutions that America has suffered. And I do mean every institution. Why do you think I hate corporations? The loss of integrity there has devastated the people that are 75 and older, because their life was about putting a faith in those institutions, because those institutions represented the best of America. Liberty, justice, social progress. Now, they're just bastions of financial shenanigans on the take or whatever, Pentagon being the ultimate example. So, what do you do? Even if you're military. You fought in fucking World War II? Well, you probably didn't anymore. But I think a few of them are still around. That's not even the problem. You fought in the Korean War, you fought in Vietnam, or you were part of something that has now turned into this. And what's turned into this is everything. So nothing of true valor still stands in America wherever you want to look. This is almost more depressing than the cat blood, but whatever. And even the ways that my parents think they've gotten a little bit of that taste of Futurama, like Alexis. Alexis? Is that what it's called? The thing on Amazon? I think so. Alexa. It's Alexa. Never mind. Because I can hear my fucking dad. He speaks to Alexa more than he speaks to my mom. And I don't... And they have no idea that all they're doing is giving their daily data points a vocal confirmation. And they don't care. They understand that that's part of the game. They just feel like the game is giving them a level of convenience that's just irrelevant, especially at 80 plus. How much life tracking and in-my-face advertising is left for me? Okay, fair enough. You've checked out. You don't give a fuck anymore, and you'll just take the timer that Alexa is. Not to mention all the ways that she's telling you how to think about everything. But the best part of yesterday is that my mom sent me a text saying, sorry for being a raging bitch, but let's just patiently try to hear each other's side and take it from there. And I'm like, fuck yeah. Sometimes you just gotta take the losses to get the wins. So when I think about the November month that I've had, which there's no contest now which month was the worst month of the year, and I thought February had locked it up. And if February hadn't, well, March was at least a candidate. Hell, even April had a foot in the door. And now November, like a thundering herd of horsemen from the apocalypse. Well, yes, pestilence, I will go get you some more dirty dirt. Nope, I won't. You know, I'm not above admitting that I can be outplayed. But I am above admitting that I'm going to let being outplayed do anything to my overall and consistent, and goddammit at this point proven, take on the world, is you will find me kind, forgiving, and understanding to the point that you can bleed all over my 300 downfill comforter. And I'll still think, well, you deserve one more night of kindness. At a minimum, we all do.